Hi, everyone. Guess who's here? Annette.
It's Annette.
Yay, which I watched her video and she said Rittenhouse was going to be let off. And I thought, oh, no, no, no. Well, I got two trials. I thought they would be a hung jury and then something else. But obviously, there's two things that are going to happen.
Yeah, I just kept getting the word acquittal.
And you know, the other thing is that I guess everybody's mad at him because he was on Tucker Carlson and said that he believed in Black Lives Matter.
I think he's only, what, 18?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I was 18, I didn't know what end was up.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, right. He hasn't formed himself as an individual. He hasn't, found who he really is. So he's probably just being tossed with the wind,
Yeah, but he definitely wanted to be big man on campus. He loved that gun and couldn't wait to use it.
How about the Trump visit?
Yeah, Trump said, oh, he really likes me. It's about Trump, Trump says Rittenhouse really likes him. But also Rittenhouse did an interview and they said, how about you joining the Proud Boys and making and he said, and I believe him, I had no idea what that meant. I don't have any idea what you mean. I didn't even know what QAnon meant.
This? That's like a yoga mudra. That's I know, what the heck?
It was the Proud Boys doing it, and he did it with them.
What does it mean?
It means white superiority. And what happened is he didn't have any clue. And he said to this interviewer, that's why the attorney that set up this meeting no longer works for me. Because when they found out later that they put him with the Proud Boys and they were all, hey, white power.
So he said he didn't have a clue what that meant?
He didn't have a clue what that meant.
That's what I was just saying. He doesn't know what's up.
So, and listen, I had a video yesterday, you guys. I had this strange feeling about China and Russia, and you and I will talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, I just mentioned that I also did a video.
Huh?
Yeah, I mentioned to you that I did a video before you did, because you went live, right?
No.
You were live?
I taped it.
Oh, you weren't? Okay, because I did one prior to you, and I was talking about the same topic.
Oh, wow. You would have thought I saw it. I thought I caught up with most of your videos. But anyway, so what I want to say is I had mentioned that if China does anything to us, watch the United States do like they did to the Japanese. They're going to stand up. They're going to take from American citizens in China. They'll take their, but anyway, this person thought I was he wasn't mean about saying this to me. He was just like, I felt like, maybe you felt the Japanese deserved that. That's definitely not what I was saying.
Well, when you said what we did to the Japanese, you weren't referring to the atomic bomb.
No.
Okay, so he might have thought you meant that.
No, I was talking about taking them, Japanese citizens and putting them in camps and taking everything they owned. We do that. The United States does that. They took.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I said, I know. Listen, I'm half Native. They took everything my mother had. They took the names. They took their hair. They took.
What America's done. It's hard to think about. It's really terrible.
When I said that was not a slight. That's just not a slight at all. Because I don't know why America does that. As long as you got them white men's running it. You're going to have things happen.
Evil is alive and well. I just wanted to say about that. I saw, we're nervous about China potentially invading Taiwan. So America has shown a big, I don't know if they just rode through with their naval ship or what they did, but they made a move and China didn't like it. But, so people are wondering if they're going to invade Taiwan. And I keep getting that they have so much trade with us. Everything's made in China, it seems, right? That's billions Linda, that's how many billions of dollars do you think that is that's coming from the United States to China? And I just feel that, you know, they're very skittish about, do we really want to, you know, upset the apple cart like that? Because that's, China could really be hurting economically if
they are. I just got an email. I was looking for it. A man wrote me, I won't say who he is, but he said, you are correct about China. Government is trying to hide the fact that their economy is fragile. How do you pronounce his name? X1,
G, yeah, G, like
allowed commercial real estate to overbuild. Now those companies are failing. Many projects are incomplete. No bailout in sight. China's government buys US treasuries if purchases are curtailed due to the local RE crises. US interest rates could rise. Slower US economy would result. Also, some bad actor country, China, Russia, Iran, could interfere with financial markets via cyber.
They're very skittish about the economy.
But I don't know taking over and come landing on our shores. I don't see that.
Is that what people are worried about?
Well, look at the poor Chinese that were brutalized because of the COVID. Everybody blamed China.
Right.
Said blame China. So I just worry that, you know, don't be stupid, China.
Well, I don't see them invading America.
No.
That just, I mean, there's a certain, like, you can push it to a certain point, like the Russia thing and Ukraine. I think you looked at that too. I see Russia on the border.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Two of Swords, just kind of stuck there. It's like,
I'd love to jump in, but I do see America saying, don't even try.
And they're threatening. They're all like, they're just pushing the envelope to make us nervous, but they have a lot to lose.
Right.
They have a ton to lose. So I just feel like Vlad, I call him Vlad, is just showing his force. You know, it's a show of force, but I'm not seeing any plans to invade Ukraine.
Oh, good. Because I felt like this energy was on there, and I think they talk about it. And I think Putin thinks he deserves Ukraine. He wrote this big letter about how it always had belonged to Russia. Well, guess what, buddy? Like I said, this land used to belong to my peoples. Guess what? Things change, and plus, nobody really owns anything.
Well, you know, he's a dictator type, you know.
But he's like, gonna go. So tell him what you said about when I saw the female.
Oh, I couldn't believe it when you said that, because if anybody saw my video from yesterday, which I think I posted before you posted yours, I'm looking at the cards and I'm like, Vlad, G, okay, you know, they're doing their thing, trying to scare America. And then I pulled this card, was a female, might have been the Queen of Wands. And I was going, who's this woman? Because I didn't really know there was a woman involved. I think of them, their countries, and it's like male dominance. And I mean, I think of Angela Merkel when I think of a woman leader. She just retired. Right. But that's the only one I could think of. And I'm like, I don't think it's her. So I think that remains to be seen.
You're up to 2.41 subscribers.
And I was at 350 last Friday. Thank you, Linda.
Well, listen, that's because you're good, girlfriend.
I'm grateful for you.
I told everybody. She said Rittenhouse was gonna be acquitted.
Yeah, I told you, you have a lot of street cred, that's for sure. Because I mean, you just say somebody's name and it's like you're like the godmother of the YouTube psychics. Just talk to Linda and she'll wave her magic wand. And
so, I mean, like I started with Sterling because I'd read his wife, and she said how Trump was going to win because Sterling told her, and she begged him to be wrong. I said, let me talk to him. And he's really a nice guy. And so I said, hey, would you like to be on my show? And then one thing worked out. Mel is the same thing.
I know. You're putting these people on the map. And I just wanted to speak to how fascinating it is that we formed this psychic community. And who the heck thought that was ever going to happen?
Right. And everybody is so kind. You know, I read with Danny, Bathrobe,
No egos.
Melissa.
No egos. It's amazing. Yeah. No egos.
No egos. People are just so cool. Intuitive You, Kim, she used to come to Angel Heart with her daughter when her daughter was in high school. And I think she asked me, I think she said, do you think I'd be good at being a psychic? Well, she's a scorp. Hello. I said, oh, hell yeah. Sky blue, grass green. But what's so weird is I told her daughter, you're going to end up in the UK.
Oh, really?
I saw her in the UK, and that's where she lives.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know Kim, I don't think.
You don't? Oh, she's a sweetheart. She's as sweet as she is on film now.
And everybody is so sweet. I mean, we pulled that meditation together last week, which I had to jump off because I couldn't hear a thing. It was all static. I didn't know what to do. I was like, how am I going to tell my people? but people did jump on, and I was so pleased how many people were just, thank you.
Way better.
Thank you. They were like, thank you. So we need to do it again.
Yeah, we'll plan it out way better.
Yeah. That whatever Danny's using, I wasn't familiar with that, but you know, technology.
Right. Definitely technology.
Someday we'll look back and we'll go, remember when we were having all those problems with technology?
So are you going to do a 2022 forecast?
Every year I do that, you know, prior to the internet, you know, and, you know, social media and all that. I always sat down the year prior and I wrote out my predictions. I used to live in Nashville. I grew up in Massachusetts, but I lived in Nashville for 11 years. And I had there's a local paper there. And this woman interviewed me about my predictions for 2001. So I know I've been doing it for a long time. And
wow.
That's documented that when I predicted events for 2001, I didn't know what I was seeing, but I clearly remember, and it's written down somewhere. I said, something is going to happen that's going to make us all step back and go, oh my God, like that could have been me. You know, that was because we always kind of do that, right? And I didn't know what it was, like a natural disaster, or like, because who would have ever thought?
But you felt the shifting of the consciousness of America.
It was it just felt big. It felt really tragic and traumatic. And do you remember Miss Cleo? A long time ago, remember the Psychic Friends Network? The Psychic Friends, Dion Warwick had this hotline, the 900 numbers.
I never was on that.
Oh my gosh, you might not have been reading them, but I was reading cards for the Psychic Network, making like $10 an hour or something ridiculous. And the Tower card kept coming up.
That's like when I was in nursing school and I did an OR at the college in San Mateo operating room because we were opening up I work labor and delivery. We didn't have to do crash sections. We used to take them down to the first floor. So they sent some of us over to this place in San Mateo to learn about operating room procedures. And all of us girls went to lunch and they all begged me, throw the card. Every one had the Tower. And
when was that?
That was in 1989. And I said, or was it 1986? I said, something big is going to happen, you guys. And I think that next morning was the Loma Prieta earthquake.
Isn't that interesting? That it would come
up to class because everything was shut down.
I mean, and it was their reading, right? So you're like, why is this coming up in this person's reading? And it's like, just shows you we're all connected.
Yeah.
The cards were saying, you'll be affected by this, you'll be affected by this, you know, and that's why it came up in everybody's reading.
And you know, the Tower doesn't have to be bad news. It can be you're blown away from the good news.
Yeah, it depends on where.
But that particular layout with every single one of them, I think right next to it was the Five of Swords.
Yeah, that's something, it's kind of a thing that we don't really talk about, is if you do see that, if you do a lot of readings and one thing keeps coming up, it's likely that it's a group event.
Right. So you've been doing this a while.
Right, since 1993.
Wow. I've been reading too, but I really started after cancer, which was in 2000.
Well, I always knew I was psychic because I thought people were just dumb because when I was growing up, because I knew all this stuff and I just thought everyone knows all this stuff. And then one day I was like, no, they don't.
But future events?
I just knew so much about a person just by meeting them, just by seeing them. It was kind of like a more awareness. It almost felt like I just had more information. And then when I moved to Nashville, I started working. I was just reading for friends. And then a friend of mine said, oh, my friend that has a witch store wants to know if you want to do readings at her store. So that's how I started. And do you know where I worked was, remember last Christmas Day, the bomb went off in Nashville?
Yes.
That's where I worked. It was one of those buildings blew up.
Jesus. Did they ever figure out what the deal was with that?
I think he was a lone wolf, kind of a loner kind of a guy. And the neighborhood knew he was odd. And I think his girlfriend even reported that he was working on a bomb. There's a lot of racism, you know.
Right.
White. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't pay very much attention. And
he didn't really kill too many. He didn't kill anybody, did he? Except
just him. It was a miracle. It was Christmas Day. The 2nd Avenue in Nashville is, when I first started working there, it wasn't like it is now. Now it's just like constant foot traffic. There would have been so many people injured or killed, but it was just him. And there was an alarm you remember there was an alarm that went off and it was like, clear the area. So it was so eerie, but it was right there that I got started doing readings in probably 95.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been on a spiritual path my entire life.
Right.
As long as I remember. Not always easy.
No. But it's also hard because when I worked in a shop called Angel Heart for You, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people, and then people got bigger and bigger and bigger because everything was coming true and everybody wanted a piece of me. But I used to tell people, you know, because people are so kind. And they always say, you feel like I'm sitting across from a girlfriend at a breakfast or, you know.
Yeah.
But I always tell them, and tell me how you feel about this. You don't want to be my friend, because if you're my friend, it's harder to read you. I can be your friend if you don't care about readings, sure.
Well, they can still be your friend, but you know.
It's harder for me to read family and friends because I'm too cluttered.
I don't read for friends, really. I don't really read for myself.
I can't read myself. I'm too damn. I can't read for myself.
Get too close to
after
her, right?
After cancer, that's when I had that awakening, and that's when the voice said to me, you're going to do a YouTube video as clear as day. And I said, what? Yeah, I don't want to get up and comb my hair. And they said, Linda, you'll help calm people down. Girl, I didn't know what I was doing. I sat down in front of the camera on my computer and just ad-libbed it. I thought I'd be lucky to have 100 people.
And they love you.
And then we're going, and my son says, Mom, you can monetize. I said, what? So I know you could monetize it.
A couple things. One is that when somebody gets a reading, I don't want them to ask me any questions. Then you were just speaking to the, you know, friends not being able to read for friends. The less I know, the easier it is, actually.
There you go.
Because I don't have to, you know, have all that preconceived ideas thing going on. But I think what's interesting about what we're all doing is that we didn't plan to do it. So it's almost like spirit, because we can hear, everybody has spirit speaking to them constantly. People that are more practiced tend to get the messages maybe more, I don't know, loudly or something. It's just a practice thing.
Right.
And I just think it's fascinating that we all ended up doing something that we never, like, it's not like, oh, let's go to school and you learn to be a psychic and have a YouTube channel. You know, we just started doing it. And now it's a community. It's so interesting.
That I got hits of the future, but I can tell you that I saw energy around me. I saw, when I'd sit in class, I could see this group of people watching me.
Oh.
Like angelic forms.
And that's how
I always knew I was being watched. And then one night I had a dream where a man said to me, I don't know if it was a dream or out of body, you know, I think it's the same guy that talked in my right ear, that I had something very important to do. And 2022 was very strong.
What did he say was
wrote it down? Yeah.
So in 2022, it's going to be like, you're probably going to be more famous.
I don't know. And the other thing they've told me to do is write a book. And let me tell you something, I'm not a writer. So what the hell, you know, they want me to tell the story of my connection to universal force. So I'm trying to write it. I'm not a writer. And one night I said to him, you know what? Because it was lingering on me, like they were bugging me. I said, I'm not a writer. You're going to have to send somebody. You're going to have to help me. And that night I had a dream about a client of mine who's pretty famous. And I wrote the person and said, I had the weirdest dream about you last night. And we were laughing about it. And they said, I asked how that person was doing. And then they asked how I'm doing. And I said, I'm supposed to write this stupid book. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a writer. I have someone who can help you.
Oh, of course.
And sent me to the person. I've been writing it ever since.
You get to a place where it's just like, okay.
Well, when you're connected to some, you know, when you get out of your own way, that's what I tell people all the time. What can I do with it? Get out of your own way.
I think that's the hardest part.
Because we have such egos and we're constantly in some sort of, you know, fight or flight or overthinking, or did I really hear that? Get out of your own way and be present, because the one thing they say is, you know, life is for the living.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I really am challenged when I tell people, and I really mean it, we have to get still. And they're like, I don't have time. We just really have to get still. Right. Because we're being spoken to. We're, you know, Spirit is speaking to us and telling us how to navigate through these really, really challenging times. I mean, I step back sometimes and I'm like, I can't even believe what we're going through.
Well, I can't believe people standing at Dealey Plaza waiting for John F. Kennedy to show up.
Yeah, that's.
Now, Andre told me that's Pisces and Neptune, or is it Pluto?
Well, yeah, I was just about to say that sounds Neptunian.
And he said that doesn't leave till 2023.
Oh, gosh.
So you're going to have these delusional things.
We should probably start looking at what's going to happen. I am going to do predictions for 2022. I did do them for 2021 with my friend Corey, who has a small business here where I live, and we do Bridge Cape Ann, it's called. We do those, and we did one last year. He said it got a lot of hits. I don't really go back and look at numbers that much. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll notice them, I'll be like, wow. But
well, somebody from the newspaper where I lived at when I was at Angel Heart did the same thing like you. We'd like you to do predictions for the next year. And I was in a city I'm not used to. So I just came off with these predictions, and I guess she tripped out because it came true.
But it was for the collective, right? It was for the country and the world, right?
Actually, it was more for the city I was in, Benicia.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
And
I called the mayor. We just had an election. I'm like, he's going to win.
You called who?
The mayor. I mean, I called who was going to win the election in my town.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but that's funny you said that, because it's so weird that I had the same, somebody contacted me from the newspaper and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, people are fascinated. They want to know how we do it.
So what should we look at for everybody?
Oh gosh, there's so much. Sometimes I write a list of questions, and sometimes I just kind of roll with it and see what the guides have for me.
Well, I posted you and I were going to be together, and I went back there because that's where I usually get my questions. It was nothing but praises for you and me, but oh, I'm so glad you two are working together, but nobody asked a question.
Thank you for the praise. Since it's Thanksgiving, thank you, Linda, for all your help and, you know, for being you. I like your curtain in the back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's my shower curtain, but I also use it for out here.
I was going to say it looks like a shower curtain. It looks nice, though, but I was wondering if it was a shower curtain. Are you in the bathroom?
Actually, it's not really. It's just a sheet that photographers use. You know who told me about it was it? I think it was Lilac Lantern.
She told you to use a curtain?
No, she told me about these. She knows about photography. And she said, you can go online and they're not very expensive. And you get these sheets that you can interchange and stuff.
Yeah, but that's an actual curtain, isn't it?
It's just a piece like a sheet.
Yeah, but so you know how you can get different backgrounds, like you can have the Borealis and stuff like that.
So, what are you thinking about Thanksgiving this time next year?
So
I'm just grateful we don't have to have that horrible anger from you know who for this Thanksgiving.
You know, I got to tell you, and I know we need to get into some questions in a minute, but just because I have to just, you know, talk about it. Between last year, the election, and January 5th.
Or 5th.
Yeah, but January 5th, I was freaking out. I was terrified. It's like I psychically knew they have, you know, they were planning. This thing was so, it was like a military attack by that strategically, militaristically, you know, planned out with maps, with we have no idea. And I've said on my videos before that, you know, looking at the January 6th commission, when we find out, I have the saying, it's going to make your hair curl. And if your hair is curly, it's going to make your hair straight because you're just going to be like, oh my God. And
and now you find out they had those disposable iPhones. They bought those with cash, so they couldn't. They knew what they were doing was wrong. And
we're finding out more, and there are layers and layers and layers of this stuff. And I felt it happening. You know when he was firing all those people and replacing them with his crone buddies?
That made me nervous, especially with the Pentagon.
And being a psychic, were you as scared as I was? Because I was really terrified.
Because I knew the outcome. My guides were very assuring. It's like my guide said in August of 2019, there was a very vicious virus coming, and I saw everybody with a mask on, and it happened. They also told me there's several vaccines coming out. So I knew we were going to get this in place. We're going to check this with these vaccines. So when they talk to me like that, I have assurance, like I know it's going to be okay.
Yeah, that wasn't scary.
Yeah.
What
was not, Biden was going to be president, and they assured me time and time again not to worry. So I didn't go into the, oh dear God, what are they doing? It was
between the election last year and January 5th, did you feel the danger?
He was danger something by all these change outs and stuff. Yeah.
I just wonder if other psychics felt the danger.
Yeah, but also I knew he wouldn't get it done. It wasn't going to happen. Oh. And did you see the pillow guy has just filed with the Supreme Court that this whole thing is a farce? And
yeah, and he's doing a thankathon right now. I think he's doing like 96 hours of a thankathon where he's telling all his followers. I mean, it's really, it's like an SNL skit, and it's just like,
God love him.
It's real.
He's not. Do you ever flash and think, what if they had gotten Nancy Pelosi or Pence?
That's what I'm saying. The more we find out, the more scary it's going to be.
Well, because can you imagine if they actually did.
I want to say something about that. I was telling people to pray, and I think enough people were praying that the thing that they meant to have happen. And I think that 45 is so freaked out that it didn't work. That caught him really off guard. I went away to pray. On January 3rd, I left Massachusetts. I went to New Hampshire by myself, got a room in an inn, and I prayed. And I watched his rally in Georgia. That was right before Raphael Warnock and the other one that I always forget his name got elected. Remember, it was the day before. So Georgia went blue, and the Capitol rioters went into the Capitol. It was craziness. But I had heard Gomer calling for violence prior to January 6th, and it's so the one thing, Linda, honestly, that gives me hope and faith in a higher power is that didn't happen, because that happens in other countries.
Right, but my guides never said look out, Linda. They usually tell me look out.
So you didn't feel that impending.
They said that it and also they've always reminded me that Trump's going down. But
that's
he did this to himself. Yeah. But not to get phobic and not to think about things that never did happen. But I got to tell you, if they had actually managed to hurt somebody, this would have been even worse on Trump.
What if they hung Mike Pence?
It would have been worse on Trump.
They had the gallows set up with the noose.
In fact, because it didn't happen, they can make this go stretch because people got hurt. But I'm saying the intention didn't happen. He didn't get to become president. Listen, all that paperwork they're looking from him, there's an actual things he already started drawing up. Like the fact that the election was a farce and they were now recalling it. He was going to do martial law, all of that.
Yeah, they had it all planned.
They had it all planned.
You know what, too, about COVID, because you were talking about COVID a little bit. Prior to COVID, it's like, we have short-term memories in America. There are things that we forget. But January of 2020, he was on his way to winning. He was dismantling our democracy piece by piece, big piece by big piece. And he was on his way to winning. Yes, because the economy was good and COVID hadn't hit yet.
Oh.
Wait, what year did COVID?
No, that has to be January 2019.
What year wasn't it last year that COVID hit in March? Like, remember it hit really hard in March?
Yeah, okay, so November of 2020 was the voting.
Was the election.
Yes,
COVID
hit. Oh,
if COVID hadn't happened, because usually they win a second term. He was on his way. Do not fast go. He was on his way. There was no way that he wasn't going to win. Why do you think he was so mad when COVID came?
Oh, yeah, because that messed him up. And then he tried to lie about it. I've often thought, and you tell me what you think, but in a way, as terrible as COVID is part of the reason he lost.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't it interesting that he would have destroyed the planet?
Oh, maybe if he got another 4 years, oh my God. Do you know, I've been reading that book, Peril, and do you know Barr told him, sir, you're not going to win because you don't know how to shut up. You keep going on and on with people are tired. The independents are tired.
Yeah.
And you got to stop that because you can't take this Obamacare to the Supreme Court right now, which he did, try to get it reversed in the middle of a pandemic.
I know. How crazy is that? And that people still wanted to vote for him. The only explanation that I have for that is the people that really still want him to be president are not paying attention.
Right.
Because just a simple fact that he's not experienced.
Well, also he's not a billionaire and he's not.
No.
I got the best program. He never came up with anything. The only thing he did was give a tax break to the rich.
Yeah. It's all smoke and mirrors, the rest. Absolutely.
Right. And he's not really a Republican. It's all about.
No, he was a Democrat.
He wasn't poor people. On my show, I've said this. You might have heard me say this. I said he's no different than Hitler was in the bunkers when Russia was coming in and bombing Berlin. And they said, sir, should we get all our people out of Berlin? Should we start telling people to go? He said, no, they're coming after me and they should be there helping to keep them away from me.
Right.
That's Trump.
You want to know? I read past lives. You want to know? I know you did a show with, is her name Melissa? Well, you know, I'm not saying she's not right. I'm just saying my impression was that he was Mussolini.
Oh, okay.
And I was telling my viewers when I had 300 viewers, I was telling them that I saw a video of that time period, actual footage from that time period, and it's on a Curiosity Stream. It's on that app. It's a movie. It's a series about keeping the throne or something like that. So they have actual video of him. I'd never seen a picture of Mussolini. He stands like him. His face, his expressions are like him. He looks like him. And you know what happened to Mussolini?
Wasn't he beat up and hung up?
They executed him.
That's why Hitler didn't. He wanted to be shot and burned. He didn't want his dead body dragged out.
Right. Yeah. Because you know what humiliation.
But, you know, was Mussolini? Because Hitler. I found it interesting that Hitler was totally obsessed with what the public and the press was saying about him, just like Trump.
Yeah, it's the same mindset. Their brains operate the same way, and it's a sickness. It really is. It's not a normal brain.
Well, listen, girlfriend, you probably heard this, and then I'd like it from you. What was the meaning of this? I had such a profound dream that I was walking in a shopping mall. It wasn't packed, just a few people, strollers and stuff. And right by the elevators, there was a bright light on a glass coffin, and it was Trump in the coffin. And I walked up to the coffin, and it was almost like Stalin, you know, that kind of like with the lights, and he's still, and his face was kind of waxy. And I looked in and nobody's standing in line. I looked and I said, I'll be doggone, that's Trump. This is
You just walked right up? You just walked right up and nobody else was
there. And it was a glass coffin. It was a see-through coffin.
So you could see him. When was that?
The lights were on him. The lights were on him.
When was that?
And I said, this is when he first became president.
Oh, interesting. And I don't see him in good health.
Do you think that might actually mean that, well, I also wondered, does it mean that he's going to fall or be demised and everybody watches it? Everybody's a witness to it.
Like Mussolini.
Yeah.
I mean, not being executed, but just like, you know, oh, wow, everyone's watching him fall.
But my guys have often compared Trump to McCarthy. Not that they're alike, but like that McCarthyism. One day he's a big shot, the next day he isn't.
Right. And that McCarthyism, unfortunately, is still alive.
But the common denominator with Trumpsters is hate.
Isn't it sad? I mean,
very sad.
I mean, you can't, if what you put out comes back. So if you're putting out hate, you're not going to have a happy life. And that, you know, that's when people are like all upset, like say, there's so many of them, but we'll just pick Matt Gaetz, right? People get so upset that he's so awful, right? And he is. But, you know, when you step back, you go, is that a happy life?
No, it can't be.
How can that be a happy life? You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, Bober, you know, all these that have put out such Gosar. You know,
they do that for money. They like the money.
I know, but they can't be very happy.
Did you ever see any outcome for Matt Gaetz?
I read on it yesterday, I think it was, and I saw him going to jail. But I saw him getting Kyle Rittenhouse as an intern too.
He will get him as an intern?
So it's after that. I think, yeah.
Kyle said he's going to school to be a nurse.
Kyle doesn't know what end is up, remember? He doesn't know he doesn't have a clue. And you know what, not for anything, but that kid never stood a chance of having a normal life. And that part of it, as much as people are mad at him, you know, those people that are, of course they're angry, he murdered people in cold blood. But he was programmed from birth to be a violent human being that you're for fearful or whatever, and to have guns. You know, we're in a gun culture.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's terrible. It's tragic.
That first victim, he shot him, disabled him on the ground, and he goes up and shoots him a couple more times.
And they're calling that self-defense? Hello. It's a good thing the Aubrey case turned out the way that it did, because we needed justice. At least once. Right. At least once. You know, and it's interesting too, because I have the sense that we're going to have like little victories, little justice victories, and it's going to have a cumulative effect. And we all need kind of a shot in the arm, bad choice of words, but we all need little glimmers of hope, because there's so much. I get so mad at like MSNBC, even though I watch it all the time. I get so mad that they like, this is a terrible thing that's happening, and then you're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Can you give us something to do about it?
Right.
They're taking away voting rights. Well, can you add more to the story about like how we can help?
Did you ever see anything psychically on the voting rights?
I saw, this was some time ago, I saw the filibuster being lifted for that particular issue.
Good.
Not across the board, but for that particular issue.
Now, what I want to ask you is, do you feel that the Republicans are going to take over?
No, but it's going to be ugly. I
saw us winning. I saw barely in Congress, but I saw big time in the Senate.
Yeah, we will win, but we will have to fight to win. And I don't mean fight violence. I mean, we're just going to have to, fight the good fight for our rights. This is waking us up. I actually did get a download about why Trump came to be. I'll put it in a nutshell.
Okay.
There were so many holes in our democracy. We had reminds me of 9/11, because we were going around like, oh, everybody's good. The world is a peaceful place. We're fine, right? Right? Trump comes along. Oh, we're good. Our democracy works out. All we needed was one bad apple to show us all the holes in the system, including the justice system.
Put out there, the more hate towards disabled, towards Mexico, China, the more put out, the more people were like frothing at the mouth.
Well, it's like when
really
people like
look at America differently, because
it's like people go to horror movies because they need to, that rush. So I heard a story. I was following Marianne Williamson on the campaign trail every time she came to New Hampshire. And she was telling a story about that she had heard that Jared and Trump walked into like a McDonald's one day, and their conversation was like, see all the anger here? We can harness this. I don't know if they were just noticing people being not happy or what, but they really literally see the anger and the fear, and they harness it. And they, and this is just like classic textbook how fascism starts. You take an unfulfilled, unsatisfied population where nobody feels like they're being helped by the system. Thank you, Ronald Reagan, right? You take that and you just feed the flames of that. And that's absolutely what he did. But because he got in that position,
he lies about what time of day it is.
Well, I'm just saying from
our gas prices being $7 a gallon.
It's unbelievable what he says. He's a constant spewing of lies. And we had to, from a big perspective, see how bad it could get. And fortunately for us, he could have been clever. He could have been a more clever.
But he's not. He says he's smart. He's not smart.
No, he's not. And that's a blessing in disguise. He wasn't smart enough to pull it off.
Well, Barr told him, sir, you are going to lose this presidency because you can't seem to manage to stop your barking and your yelling, and your people are dying, and you're saying it's a nothing burger. You're losing the presidency. He had the nerve to tell him straight up.
Yeah, he couldn't see it.
For not going in and saying, this thing was a fraud and I'm going to do. He said, no, sir, there was no fraud. I checked into it. There was no fraud. Oh, I'm really disappointed in you. I thought you liked me.
Well, if you ever listen to Mary Trump, she said that he can't lose.
No.
That's the worst possible case scenario. And that family, and the Trump family, it was, you can't lose. Do not win at all costs.
Yep.
And at all costs is the key phrase there. At all costs.
And also, he's very vengeful.
He's a malignant narcissist sociopath. Yeah. There, I said it.
Yeah.
If you read about that personality type.
I don't believe when he was on something and he talked about that test they gave him, and then they said table, and then they said man, then they said dog.
I'm telling you, it's like an
SNS. They said, oh, sir, we've never had anyone who could come back remembering all that.
Does that tell you enough? I mean, and it just goes on and on and on, and you're like, this is cringe stuff.
That's how Putin played him. Putin played him by acting like he cared.
And how about Kim Jong-Un?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is the thing. This is actually good news about Kim. All that threat, and then he said, Rocket Man, come on, our bombs are bigger than your bombs, and everybody was like, oh. Oh my God, this is going to cause a war. But what happened was, actually, Kim Jong-un was a bully. And so when you tell a bully off and say, F you, come on, let's do this, all of a sudden it changed. Because Kim Jong-un had no intention of doing any of that.
Oh, it was in Bob Woodward's book, I think.
Tell them, whatever, dude, come on, let's go for it. And then they changed their mind.
And that's, just going back to China and Russia, there's a little bit of that going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a bunch of big boys and their toys. It's ridiculous.
But what did you feel about Jared? Did you ever read on Jared?
I feel like, yeah, it's not easy to read about Jared because it's just so slimy. It's really... It's get me out of the swamp of slime. He's such a despicable human being. I mean, just for things that he was, I get Middle East. He was. Oh, he was over there.
It's all about money for him.
And I can't even think about the Khashoggi thing, but this is for entertainment purposes only. I see Jared energy over that situation.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Trump go to jail, but I do see a possibility of Jared going to jail.
Well, really big international crimes for Jared. And I don't think I've read on whether he's going to prison, but he should. A lot of people should. But right. There's some real nefarious stuff going on with people he shouldn't be playing with.
Oh, listen, when all this stuff comes out, I told people years ago, at the end of the day, they will figure out that Trump was an illegitimate president. He didn't win that last election. He had Russia help him.
It's all over the Mueller report.
Everything he touched will be removed.
Good. It's all over the Mueller report. We never saw that whole thing.
No. But it's sorry it's taken so long, but it is coming out.
It will be we're going to see this year that he loses his shine. Yeah. This year, coming 2022. The more that comes out, the more people will be. Actually,
I try to remind people in 2018 during the midterms, he was on. In fact, his staff loved him to be on the road. He loved the crowd's adulation towards him.
He needs it.
He was out on the road and he was talking trash about everybody and vote for this person and vote for Roy Moore and vote for this person. He was going all the way along and acting like, I got this. They said that guy that wrote the book on him, Michael Wolff, I think is his name. He said the worst mood anybody saw him in, besides when he lost as president, was when he lost all those seats. He got one win in
Yeah, he can't lose.
Oh, yeah, but he lost major.
Now, I'm curious about why he hasn't been doing rallies, because he needs that.
He has been doing rallies.
I haven't seen a rally in a while.
I don't think they're videoing them, but he has been here and there.
Yeah, here and there, but not like he was.
Oh God.
Even
well, that's even, because it was on our dime.
Right. So that
going on trips golfing, he doesn't do that anymore either because it was on the Americans' dime. When we were
have security, does he still have his secret?
Yeah,
does he have
his security?
You know what? I thought he couldn't live at Mar-a-Lago.
I thought so too, and he's still there.
What happened there?
It wasn't supposed to be, but a place where you can rent rooms and stuff. So why is he still living there?
The neighbors were.
What happened? That's good because we'll look that up.
The neighbors were filing lawsuits. They were like, "Were you? It's in the contract."
You know how hard lawsuits are. It could still be it could still be something. Then all of a sudden they come out and say, "Guess what? They won."
Yeah, I think that we're not hearing about it.
No. Well, they did manage to tell him to knock it off with a helicopter coming back and forth.
So he's squatting.
People say that he doesn't care about being president. He just wants the money from these suckers. But I think he loved being president.
Who said he doesn't care about being president? That's like the ultimate power.
Stuff, you know, it's not, he doesn't really care about being president. He just wants, he'll act like he's going to run for Congress and be Speaker of the Congress. He's talking about that now. And he'll run and also run for president in 2024 because he needs the money. He wants them to keep pouring the money in.
Well, you know, I don't know if this happens to you, but whenever the news it just happened this morning. I saw a little clip about, oh, he's going to run in 2020. And it's just like, I just have to shut it off. It's like, shut up. It's 2021. He doesn't, you know, he's not even been subpoenaed yet, right? He's got a list, thousands of crimes long. And why, I don't understand. We're psychics, we should know, right? Why are they, what is this?
He's going to run. I've never felt,
I don't get that.
I don't see him going to jail either, but I never felt like he was going to run.
Yesterday when I did a reading, I saw a lot of clogged up, his body just seems all clogged up. You know what I mean? It just seems like,
you know, when you have that kind of anger.
Stuffed turkey kind of.
Yeah, it's anger. Now he's lost some weight, which is good, but he's got a lot of anger on him. And I noticed some people that carry a lot of anger tend to have issues.
And his cognitive function, I don't care what anybody says. If you listen to him talk, he's not making any sense.
I know.
But I mean, that's kind of like in fashion these days from what I can see.
Right.
Look at Kevin McCarthy on the House floor for 8 hours. Did he make any sense?
None.
They string lies together and that's their conversation. How long, what kind of shelf life does that have?
What did you see on Kevin
McCarthy? I don't think I've read on him lately.
You know what? Look at him now. Let's give everybody at least one spread.
Well, I'll tell you, it's almost an hour we're blabbering on. Sorry. I did see one thing the guides keep showing me is, believe it or not, Kevin McCarthy on January 6th on a video cam, a security cam. Ann Bober and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I see video.
They were giving tours January 5th.
It might be that or it might be the 6th, but I definitely see them on video cam showing those people around. And I kind of feel like it's January 6th also. They have such incriminating, they have so much evidence. It's like,
and I love what's her face, although she still won't come over to the other side, Liz Cheney, when she said, you won't believe the people that are coming to us spilling beans.
I got that they were spilling beans.
Want to give you the information and get me out of here.
Yeah, I got that there's way more cooperation than we know about. And yeah, what cards are those? I can't see.
That's Kevin. Yeah, let me tell you something. This is what I saw. You know how he's bragging, and when we take over, hello. He's going to be
judgment
shocked that he's not going to be speaker.
Was that the judgment card?
That was the devil.
Oh, okay, because that's a different deck. I feel like he doesn't know what he's doing. I feel like he's really dumb. I was saying that the other day on a video, and somebody else said it too, and I think they were on the news. No, you know who it was actually? It was the astrologer, Andre.
Andre, what did he say?
I watched your vid with Andre, and he said, McCarthy's not that bright.
No, he's not.
He's a puppet.
Right.
And I saw before he stood on that House floor for 8 hours, I saw him having a conversation in that morning, talking to Trump. Yeah. And Trump put him up to that.
And also, let me tell you, Trump is sort of thinking about running for Congress, and he would kick Kevin out of his seat in a New York minute.
Yeah, but he doesn't make any sense when he opens his mouth. That's a concerning thing. You know, that's what I was saying.
Did you hear Marjorie Taylor Greene said all the Republicans that voted for the Biden's new deal for the bridges and stuff, all the 13 Republicans that voted for that need to be sanctioned and taken off all committees.
Oh, because they want to help the American people that are
their constituents. It's for their
that are paying her a check, that are paying because they want to help their fellow Americans, which is their job.
Right.
We will, Linda, mark my words, we will have had enough.
Thank you.
We're reaching our breaking point.
Right.
I mean,
so funny how the ones who vote no, like even that the shots in the arm and the checks that Biden said, they went right back to their constituents and said, oh, you got a check coming, like they took. So next thing you know, we're posting billboards saying so-and-so didn't vote for this.
That's really important. And how about Mitch McConnell going back to Kentucky and saying, oh, this infrastructure bill is a godsend. What?
How do you didn't even vote yes?
I know. It's so hypocritical. So this is Kevin McCarthy. The January 6th Commission has lined it up. It's kind of hard to see these cards, but they've lined it up. It's a 6 of Wands. They're jumping over the obstacles to Kevin McCarthy, and it's quickly. I keep getting the Chariot card on the January 6th Commission again and again.
Like they're able to yin-yang it, put it together and move forward.
And I see a lot more action for the rest of this year.
And you know what's so funny is they really think they're going to win the House and they can stop.
Well, because they're going to steal it. Their plan is to steal it. Well, they tried that on January 6th.
Right, right.
Is that what they're planning to do?
Yeah, well, no, yeah, but with this voting thing, but I think you're right. I think we're going to get, we're going to put the John Lewis Voting Rights Act through.
Yeah, I feel
as it is, all these places with these crazy things they're doing just to cheat. All of these have court cases.
Well, and the thing is too, you know, people are worried about violence at the polls and everything, but the January 6th Commission will be sending a signal. You might not want to try that. You know, the armed, you know, Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and, you know, being at the voting polls, like, because it's their Second Amendment rights. Stupid Second Amendment thing has got to go. I don't feel like that's going to be so attractive to them. Not that they won't think about it, but it's going to be, maybe I won't do that.
Right, right.
We need to be praying for that. That they just go, no, never mind.
Right, right.
Not a good day for violence.
No, I just don't know. I'm almost feeling as we get closer, so much has happened that people aren't, it feels ugly with those people still barking, but it's not as big of a deal.
Well, Linda, we have to recognize something very important with our group of subscribers and viewers. That's mega power. That's mega white light power. I really, and I gotta tell you, I had an image while we were meditating because I couldn't get in the room, but I did meditate during that time last Sunday that we were all together. And I had a vision of, I don't know why it came to me this way, of Gosar. and the image was kind of like a gargoyle, and I just kind of saw the gargoyle sort of wake up like, what's going on there? I've had my run-ins with the dark side, and I've heard you talking about it. My point is that it was the dark side noticing that we were meditating.
Oh, wow.
They notice.
Yeah.
Sometimes
all this commotion.
Because nobody is getting quiet. And when we get quiet, that's big power.
Right. Right.
And when we don't send daggers of dark energy back at them and we just be peaceful, that's big, 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 big power. And it sounds like a contradiction, but that's the biggest power we have.
Right. Right.
We're calm. And there, you know, the dark side, we'll have a conversation sometime about evil.
Okay. Yeah.
It's real.
I know. I dealt with a guy that in a reading that I knew was pure evil. And I
it's real.
I faked the reading because I was so frightened, but I acted ad lib and I do this fake reading, and he was like, wow, that sounds good. But I could sense that other.
Yeah.
And do you know, the week later, the gal that of the place I was at said, you know, that guy that came in that you said you were scared of because he was evil? He murdered 2 people after he left there.
I think I remember you saying that. That's so scary, but you were protected.
I was, oh my God. I've had dreams of fighting evil.
Really? You know what? You mentioned that, and I heard you say that, and you are the first person that I've ever heard say that. I used to have nightmares where I was trying to get the Our Father out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I grew up Catholic because I knew I was confronting dark entities in my dream, and that the way to combat them was to say the Lord's Prayer. And when I ever heard you say that, I was like, because didn't you say?
Well, I was raised atheist. My parents were not religious. So in a dream in Laguna Beach, I was fighting an evil in a room with other people.
Right.
And I had to say the Lord's Prayer. And they said to me, you have to mean every word. And I said the Lord's Prayer, and I meant every word. And when I woke up out of the sleep state, I was still saying it out loud. But in life, I didn't know the Lord's Prayer.
That's fascinating. See, I grew up Catholic, so I knew it. But
I was not around the Catholic Church.
So that shows you the power of that prayer. So that's big power too. That's big.
And you know, the fact that they told me I was going to do the YouTube to help calm people down. I mean, and the other thing is, people got mad at me. They still love me, but because when I said, listen, you guys, we need to get off this Trump train. We can't be, you know, he did this and he did that SOB. You got to just let up and allow, because they're working at it. They're working at it.
Yeah.
We go into this, you effing this, you're that. We go into what they call a state of resistance. So it doesn't hurt him, it hurts us.
Yeah.
And we're feeding a frantic fire.
Well, yeah, so that's what I was just about to say, is we're adding to that low vibration. If we meet anger with anger, anger is justified in certain situations, but we need to know that's not helpful.
Right.
We can, go scream at the beach or something, but, just know that it's not helpful. If you want the situation to be better, then you have to go for the higher vibration.
Right.
So, be angry, but then go for the higher vibration.
And just say, this too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Yeah. Just leave it there.
Breathe and be present in the well-being, and nothing can fight that good, solid, well-being energy. They can't pierce it. They can't pierce it. If they get scared and angry, they love that. They love that.
That's what the dark side does. And I don't know if you know, but I was brought up Catholic. Satan is called the father of lies.
Oh, that sounds like Trump.
Yeah. Hello. Right. Yeah. And the dark side wants you to be very afraid.
Yeah.
They love that. They feed on fear and very, very angry. That's what the dark side loves. So I told everybody for Thanksgiving, I said, here's what we do at the Thanksgiving Day table.
Okay.
Somebody who's on the political other end of the spectrum and you're in disagreement, you go, oh yeah, I've seen that he's for violence and hatred, but I'm for love.
There you go. And that's what we're giving to you guys today. Because can you believe we've been an hour and almost 20 minutes.
No, see, maybe we should have a big chat before we go.
Oh, but listen, we'll do this again. And, you know, I can always come on your channel too.
Yeah, if we can figure out Zoom, I can figure out Zoom. Yeah, that's no problem.
It's really easy.
Do we want to give the people like something to take away or some, what's the biggest question that people have on like lately?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, will voting rights go through?
Oh, that's a good question. We'll go with that. We kind of answered it.
That's, you know, the economy is already getting fixed, so to speak. I think Biden's numbers are going to come up, but the most important thing is, will the voting rights? Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a progression here. This is what it's going to feel like. This is the 7 of Cups. The guy's like, you know, down and distraught. And then it's a bit of a balancing act. Remember the infrastructure bill? Sorry, it's so glary.
Okay.
The infrastructure bill, back and forth. And we're going to see more of that with the infrastructure bill, back and forth, back and forth. It's like a tennis match. But this is overcoming the obstacles.
Oh, yay.
To voting rights. Don't forget John Lewis, Elijah Cummings, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you know, they're all on the other side helping us.
They're helping us.
Yeah. And we can ask them for help too.
Now, let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Another good question. What do you think about the Supreme Court? Are they going to get rid of Roe versus Wade?
No. No.
You know why 76% of Americans are for it?
No. The women are rising up. You know, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So women are rising up.
Do you see a new Supreme Court? I've often felt that what's his name was going to go.
Kavanaugh's going to go.
Kavanaugh. I saw them removing him, and who is it? The one whose wife Jenny worked on the insurrection. He helped finance the buses.
Mitch McConnell, not the Supreme Court.
Judge Thomas.
Let me ask the pendulum. Okay. Oh, I got the devil card. Yay.
Okay.
They're going to be in trouble.
Court be fixed from Trump's damage.
Yes. Yes. I get yes.
Okay, good.
And the guys are saying, don't underestimate intentionality. If you want to see it a certain way, intend it in your mind, visualize it. Okay. See a headline, you know, just keep it in your mind. And when I say, it's interesting that we all have come together as psychics on YouTube. The angels want us to use our collective energy to push this where it needs to be. Right. Push this energy where it needs to be. So, you know, we might be all like, oh, it's good, we have all these subscribers. But we, you know, that's a responsibility. You know, it's big power to, you know, let's get people to do what, because now that you have everybody's attention,
right?
Tell them what to do. Because like I said, I watch MSNBC and it's like, don't leave me in this state right before I'm going to bed.
I know, even our Rachel Maddow, she can get pretty
Debbie Downer, I'm telling you.
Downer, yeah. I'm like, what, girl? I know you just didn't go through that.
I think they're just trained to do that because there's like this little pause. She'll tell you the story, and then there's this pause. There's a little bit of hope in the story, and then there's this dramatic pause, and then she goes on this tirade about how we're doomed.
I know, and you know, even when I see the Republicans, like that idiot and everybody saying, "Oh, wait till we take over," and when they say that, it's so funny. It doesn't put fear in me at all, because I'm like, dude, have you got that wrong or what?
They're just blowing smoke.
Yeah,
it has no substance.
No, you ain't taking over again.
It has no substance. We can feel that.
Yeah, yeah. So
we're
yeah,
not
I'd love to have you again anytime you feel like it. But also,
yeah, maybe we'll do some questions next time.
Next time we'll do next time. See, they didn't post questions. That's very rare. No, everybody was very grateful you and I were doing this. I got like 30 comments, no questions.
it's Thanksgiving. They just wanted to express gratitude. That's all. They didn't want to like use their brains. It's time to eat turkey.
So listen, I'm watching on TCM a movie called Between Two Worlds, 1944, about people who've died and don't know they're dead and they're on a ship. It's getting very interesting. But I got to finish that. So
I think Tyler Henry has a book by the same title, The Famous Medium, the young kid.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
Yeah, he's famous. He's a celebrity, but I think his book is entitled that. It's about being a medium.
Oh, okay.
Tyler Henry, I know you've seen him.
I might have. Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell though. The one I had a reading with was Thomas John.
Oh, you had a mediumship reading?
Yeah, and it scared me. It was so good. But the problem with Thomas John is you can pay a lot of money and he'll cancel you a couple of times. And I don't like
that. That's not nice.
That's not, you don't pay $1,000 and get canceled.
No. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I couldn't charge that much.
But, you know, he's very good, but you got to have patience. And I'm not, believe it or not, although I come off like I'm a holy roller, I'm kind of a bitch in real life. I'm like, oh, hell no. I know you just didn't cancel on me. Do you know who I am?
No, we got to be that way because, you know, you don't want people stepping all over you.
Right.
That's for sure.
Well, you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Let's reconvene at some point soon. Maybe meditate
again. Let's do it again.
All right.
Very happy because you are very good. I'm going to tell you right now.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of good ones out there, but someone mentioned you to me, and I thought, well, let me go check this girl out. And then I was like, wow, okay. I like it too because you see what I see.
That's true. That's true. We're pretty much in alignment.
Rittenhouse, but I can't say I didn't see him not guilty. Well, yeah, I wasn't thinking not guilty, but I was seeing 2 trials.
Well, I think it will be revisited.
Okay.
I do. I don't know if it's a civil.
Real quick before we leave, do you feel anything with that judge on the Rittenhouse trial?
Oh my gosh, you didn't see that video.
No.
Whenever I thought about that trial, I saw dollar signs all over that trial. That wasn't a real trial.
Yeah, he had a $2 million defense.
Yeah, but I felt like he was paid off.
Oh, the judge was.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I saw that Tucker Carlson film.
What did you? Oh, that Tucker is done. Tucker's done. He's gonna. He's
right here, you guys.
He's in big trouble.
I love it. I love it.
Big lawsuits. Yeah.
Like
he's the thorn in there and Fox News' side. Tucker is. Don't be fooled.
Okay. All right, you guys. Love you all. Happy.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks.
National Indigenous Day, whatever you want. Cheers.
Bye.